Cameras pop up. Testing 1, 2, 3. Are we ready? Yes. Are we ready? We are ready. Okay. Welcome to the very first episode of Chilling with me. I'm joking. Welcome to the first episode of Intellectual Intimacy, man. Yeah, a hub for curious minds, deep thinkers, and people who are just looking to grow intellectually and emotionally. Yep. I don't know, man. I'm just super pumped up for this episode. I think it's because I've been looking forward to dropping it, and also I put in so much effort into the making of this episode. I think I've been shooting for 2 days. I've been doing a lot of back and forth, shooting, deleting, editing, and starting over, because there's just been so many things that I didn't like. But here we are. We're finally here. It's here. It's happening. It's real. This is just one of many episodes that we're going to be dropping here on this channel. And we're hoping to grow, man, and become something big and something impactful to society. But that's just what's been on my mind. And my name is Mtutugo. I'm from Kwamrikabialingana, Eskodisa Semangoze, Ngomzulu bawethu, ngiyensizwa kwaZulu. So today, in this very first episode, I just want to speak about something that has been on my mind, something that is not talked about enough, you see, because I've just recently had a deep realization about something that has been on my mind for the past couple of weeks, since the year 2025 started, actually. And that is how our childhood shapes the people we become, especially the things we do not talk about, because we didn't realize they affected us. We just keep those things inside of us, and before we know it, we're adults. We have to face this life thing head on, and the people that were there in our childhood that made sure we had everything we needed are no longer here. You see, now you start facing challenges. You start having issues in different aspects of your life. You start putting together the pieces, and the puzzle does not hlangana, my friend. You see, you start wondering what's happening. And it's not until you start reflecting that you realize, oh, there's actually a root cause for everything that's happening in my life right now. And that same root cause traces back to when you were a child. Because I believe that when we are children, we do not have the emotional capacity to process trauma, right? If something hurts us, we do not sit there and say, oh, this is trauma. I need to heal from this. No, we just survive. We adapt and we suppress, because as kids, survival is all we know, all right? We want to play, to eat, and sleep, and then repeat the cycle. Anything else that is outside of that is not that important. So we just suppress every negative thing or every bad thing that happens to us. But the tricky part about that, though, is that suppressed pain does not just vanish, all right? It waits. It just buries itself in the subconscious, and then it comes back later on in life, years later. Now, when it comes back, it starts manifesting itself in so many different ways. It starts showing up in different aspects of your life. You see, it shows up in a way that we handle relationships. It shows up in a way that we react to conflict, in a way that we trust or don't trust people. It affects the way that we see ourselves. It affects the way that we deal with failure, the way that we handle stress. And often we do not connect the dots. What we tend to do, we accept it as it is, and we say to ourselves, oh, well, it's just who I am. But we don't stop to think about the possibility of it not being who we truly are, but just maybe the version of us that was shaped by the pain that we never got a chance to heal from. And that right there is the scariest part. When pain becomes personality, when your inability to express love is just you being emotionally unavailable, when in reality it's because you never saw healthy love growing up. When your fear of commitment is just about finding the right person, when really it's because the people you love let you down when you were too young to understand why. See, the past finds itself into the present. Yeah, but And the hardest thing about healing is that at some point you have to go back. You have to revisit the very same things you're trying to avoid. You have to unlearn the coping mechanisms that no longer serve you. And that entails asking yourself the hard questions, the difficult questions. Why do I react this way? Why do I shut down when people get too close? Why do I always feel the need to prove myself? So the thing about healing is that it's uncomfortable. It's painful because for the first time, you're facing the things you spent years avoiding. But also, what I love about healing is that on the other side of the discomfort is freedom. On the other side of pain is peace. Most importantly, on the other side of healing is you, the real you, not the version of you that was shaped by pain, but the version of you that is finally free from that pain. Because the truth of the matter is that we cannot change the past, but we certainly can stop it from controlling our future. And the reason I'm speaking about this like this is because I went as far as thinking about boys who grow up without father figures in their life. And I realized that as boys, growing up without father figure in our life, especially if we have a rigid structure around us, like your mothers, your grandmothers, and even your aunts or a strong woman in your life, may not seem like a big deal at first. Understand why? Because all those strong women, they make sure that you have everything that you need. So you grow up thinking that you're fine. But here's what happens. No one teaches you what it means to be a man. So everything about a man you piece together from what you see on TV, from the stuff that you see on social media, the stuff that you see on different newspapers, from stuff that you read, and from what society expects from us, and mostly from trial and error. But the thing with trial and error is that there's a lot of error. So you enter adulthood with gaps in emotional regulation, gaps in understanding responsibility, leadership, because no one showed you what it means to be a husband, what it means to be a father, what it means to be a protector. So if you happen to become a husband or a father yourself, you might find yourself struggling a little bit, if not really struggling. So what we tend to do, we either overcompensate, you try to be everything that you never had, or you struggle because you never had the blueprint. A lot of men who grew up without a father figure in their life struggle with vulnerability. I've since learned. And I mean, society already tells us, man, not to show emotions, but growing up without a father, we lack the ability to process those emotions properly. So you either shut down emotionally or you just let things build up to a point where they explode. You see? But the thing is, growing up a certain way does not mean that we have to be trapped in those patterns. Understand that. I believe that healing means unlearning certain survival tactics that helped us as kids but are holding us back as adults. I mean, it is okay to acknowledge that something was missing. It doesn't take away from all the efforts that your mother put in raising you. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you less of a man. In fact, if anything, I believe that facing it head on makes you a better person, and putting in the work to become better is what real strength looks like. So there's just been a lot, man, that I've been thinking about lately. And I think most of it comes from realizing that people deal with so much in this world. Understand? You might come across a person, they're dressed nicely, they putting up a smile on their face, they just walking around, and you might think that the person has everything figured out, only to find that the person is battling a lot inside, you see? So, yeah, but that was just my 2 cents. I just wanted to share what I thought was important and needed to be shared on this platform. So that will be it from me today. I think I'm just going to be dropping a lot of these videos, but obviously it's going to depend on the engagement and whether or not I get the motivation. Where will the motivation comes from? It will come from you subscribing, liking, commenting, and sharing the video, because that's what's going to push me to keep making more of this kind of videos. But yeah, man, that will be it from me. I hope I'll see you in the second episode. This is the very first episode. It's crazy. You see? Hey, my wife is calling. Away.